The Republicans' slim chances of winning the Maryland Senate race just went up in flames. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 Senate election in Maryland, because everyone, Republicans have just lost the Maryland Senate race, and I know, this is a Democrat state. Why are we saying now Republicans have lost? Well, Larry Hogan, by most accounts, was a strong recruit, and a lot of people thought, hey, with him being a former governor, and a well-liked one at that, he has a good chance of winning in Maryland, especially against a weaker Democrat. Well, the chances we had at winning the race, which, by the way, we never were favored despite the weaker candidate and the favorable circumstances, well, those chances are gone. It went up in flames the past 48 hours. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, I do want to be clear that even before what happened the past 48 hours, I still always thought that while Hogan was a strong recruit for Maryland standards, Democrats were always going to be the favorites, just for the simple fact that this is a super Biden state. This isn't, Biden plus 5. This is a Biden plus 30 state. And even with someone like Hogan running, who, by the way, he has won statewide races before, but that was in a midterm. He never won a race during a presidential year. So that's why his wins, yeah, they're impressive, but those were in lower turnout elections. But either way, before the past 48 hours, I still thought that, okay, even if Hogan loses, he's still going to make the race a lot closer than it should be, and therefore force Democrats to spend a bunch of money. Well, let's get into it, because I cannot believe that Larry Hogan was running an actually good campaign before now. But now his campaign is all but dead. Laura Trump, the Republican National Committee co-chair and daughter-in-law of former President Donald Trump, dodged answering whether the RNC will support Maryland Republican Larry Hogan's run for Senate after Hogan called for Americans to respect the verdict. Yeah. Now, let's just ignore the RNC stuff for a minute, because that's not what the problem is here. It's what Hogan said about the verdict. This guy, I understand this is Maryland. This isn't, a competitive state. This isn't even a Democrat-leaning state. This is a deep blue state. So obviously, it wouldn't have been smart to say, oh yeah, I oppose the verdict 100%. I support Trump. We got to make America great again. I understand that he can't say that. But what this bozo said was, respect the verdict, it doesn't matter what happens, Trump might be guilty. He said stuff that he shouldn't say. Especially in a state where he needs to win every single Republican vote. It doesn't matter how many Democrats he wins. If he loses even a single Republican, he has no chance of victory. And that's just the reality of it. And that's what people got to understand. Yes, you got to appeal to independents and even Democrats in Maryland if you want to win. But at the same time, you have to win your own voters. And by saying dumb stuff like this, well, your chances go down in flames. I don't support what he just said there. I think it's ridiculous. Laura Trump said when asked by CNN's Casey Hunt if the RNC will support Hogan on State of the Union Sunday morning. Now, I still think the RNC should support Hogan. Now, I'm not saying, bankrupt themselves backing him, but either way, the fact that Hogan is now pissed off the RNC and a bunch of other Republicans because of what he said is unbelievable. Right before the verdict was announced, Hogan tweeted that he urged Americans to accept the verdict regardless of the outcome. At this dangerously divided moment in our history, all leaders, regardless of party, must not pour fuel in the fire with more toxic partisanship. We must reaffirm what has made this nation great, the rule of law, Hogan said in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter. That's what he said. I understand this is Maryland. You can't just say, you back Trump, this is a rigged trial. He didn't have to say that. I understand that. But the fact that he basically ignored the fact that what happened to Trump was, by most accounts, complete bullshit. It doesn't matter what you think if he was guilty or not. How the trial was conducted, with a lynching jury, with a corrupt judge, with everything that happened. That is not good. You cannot defend that. What Hogan should have said was, hey, you might agree with the verdict, you might not. We should let the process play out. Let them take it to appeals, and that's that. That's all he should have said. And in fact, that would have made much more sense. You can say that's a more bipartisan statement, because you're saying, let the process play out. Let the appeal courts take it up, even the Supreme Court if they have to, and let them decide. Let the process play out. That's what he should have said. And no one would have been mad. In fact, most people would have agreed. Like, hey, I mean, he's right. Well, let the process play out. Let him take it to appeals and see what happens. That would have been the correct statement. But instead he said, we should respect the verdict no matter what. Just say take it to appeals and be done with it. Because either way, no matter what happened, whether they found him guilty or not guilty, this would have backfired on Hogan no matter what. Because if he was found not guilty, Democrats would have used this as proof that Hogan supports the MAGA Republicans because he supports the verdict of Trump being not guilty. And what happened was he was found guilty, and now Republicans look at this and say, we're not supporting you. You support this garbage verdict. You know what? We're not going to back you. And I'm just baffled that no one in the Hogan campaign thought, maybe we shouldn't say this. Maybe we should just say, leave it to the appeals, whatever. But no, they really thought it was a good idea to say, respect the verdict no matter what. Because even if Trump was found not guilty, Democrats would have used this as proof that Hogan supports MAGA Republicans, and his campaign would have gone down in flames either way. That's the problem. It's one of those things where he says this, and no matter what happens, he was going to get politically killed by this. He was. And frankly, his campaign's done because of it. And already, we have a bunch of Republicans saying, you're done. You just ended your campaign, said Chris Lachiva, a GOP political strategist. Either way, this is a disaster. This one statement has officially pissed off the RNC, Republican voters, the grassroots, etc. It's pissed off everyone. And frankly, it probably won Hogan no new voters. None. Because for every Democrat he might have gained here, he probably lost 2 Republicans. Again, it's Maryland. I'm not expecting him to back Trump. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying he should do. I've already said clearly that, yeah, just say leave it to the appeals, right? That's what he should have said. But either way, he has to play both sides perfectly. He has to be seen as a true bipartisan Republican. Or not even a Republican, just a bipartisan senator in this case. And he screwed himself because he went way too much into appeasing Democrats, which, again, you need Democrats to win in Maryland, but you still need your core Republicans. You can't just forget about them. Because you lose one Republican voter, your chance of winning goes down dramatically. So, this was bad enough. But for whatever reason, just yesterday, Hogan posted this. Listen, I understand that Maryland is a socially liberal state. I understand that, right? But, just like this Trump statement, why the hell would you post this? Yeah, he really posted some pride crap. Why? What are you trying to accomplish here? I understand that you're trying to appease Democrats, but at this point in time, you're going too far into appeasing Dems. You really are. Because Republicans are going to look at this and say, why should we support Hogan? Why? The average Republican voter is not going to vote for this guy if he keeps running on just being a Democrat. Or I should say Democrat light. Because honestly, has he ran on a single Republican issue this campaign? Just even one thing? I can't think of one. But instead he thinks, oh, if I just run as a Democrat, I'm going to win. No, you're not. Joe O'Dea from Colorado proved this. He basically ran as a Democrat light, and he got crushed. He lost a bunch of Trump voters, and that's why he got embarrassed against Michael Bennet. Here, he's just doing the same thing. Again, Maryland's more Democrat. I understand that. But you have to play both sides. You have to be seen as a true bipartisan Republican. Not just a Democrat that's running, claim you're a Republican. And that's what he's doing. I don't know. It's one of those situations where we had a chance here We really did. Was it 100%? No, not even a 40% chance. But we had a good chance here, at least better than usual, especially for Maryland standards. You had a popular Republican governor running for the Senate seat against a weaker Democrat. And Democrats were forced to spend tens of millions of dollars, or they were. They were forced to spend a bunch of money here. But now, because Hogan said all these dumb things, I really think his chances are done. He has no shot at winning now. Because Republicans are going to look at this and say, what's the point? Honestly, if he's running as a Democrat, what's the point? Running as a moderate's one thing, but saying dumb stuff like this to appease the Democrats that, let's face it, a large chunk of them will never vote for you, it's not the way. This is not how you're going to win. He had to run a perfect campaign, and before, like a week ago, or I should say 3 days ago, it was a very good campaign. He wasn't making that many mistakes, if any at all. But really the past 4 days, it's been a disaster. He's been saying stuff he shouldn't say, and it's not going to get much better. At this point in time, I don't see Hogan winning. I think he's made too many mistakes the past week to recover from. And some might say, well, people are not going to look at this. You know, they're not going to know that Hogan said this. Really? I really think a bunch of Republicans are going to find out, yeah, he said this about Trump and he's posted crap like this. They're going to find out about this and they're not going to be happy about it. Now, to be clear, I do think Hogan still has a chance technically. You know, you might argue, well, this is 5 months before the election. Maybe people will forget about it. Maybe. But at the same time, if he's saying dumb stuff like this now, is it going to get much better? What is he going to say in 2 weeks? That we need amnesty for 30 million people? We should just open up the border? I don't know. He's trying to appease Democrats way too much, and it's not going to work. You're going to see his polling numbers slip real quick. I really believe it. So we just got to see what happens again. Things could change. Who knows? Maybe Hogan can win at the end of the day. It's possible. But I really think he's making mistakes that he should have avoided. He could have. If he kept his damn mouth shut about the verdict and just say, let the process play out, no one would have a problem. No one would be talking about this. Not a single person. But instead, he decided, you know what? I'm going to try to be a never Trumper and see how that goes. Well, as of now, it's clearly not working. In fact, it might have killed his campaign. His chances of winning, I think as of now, it's pretty much gone. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below. And of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.